You've done well to make it this far. I applaud your efforts. Here ends the tale that has been painstakingly woven over the past 800 years on Kamishima of Ise Bay. Thanks to you, peace has descended upon the island once more. For that, you have my sincerest gratitude. While a few sacrifices may have been made along the way, we must content ourselves with the fact that they are here, or that they were within permissible limits. Now, while our story does end here, if its conclusion does not quite sit right with you, you may wish to explore possibilities that would result in a different outcome. On the other hand, I could simply tell you what the missing pieces are if you prefer. Not yet. I had a feeling you might say that. My apologies for making such an undignified proposal. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. I shall take my leave of you now until we next meet. Alright, so there was one back here we hadn't seen. About 2 months after waking up on Kamishima and being taken in, Sato Shiranami goes to the roof of the Kantakisho ruins for some time alone. "2 months have passed since I washed up on this island. 400 years elapsed while I was locked away under the sea, but I've managed to adjust to modern life somehow. Although sometimes I wonder why I bothered. It's so quiet on the roof of the Kantakisho. I'm alone but for the wind rustling in the trees, the distant roar of the tide. It feels so good to have this view all to myself, to just let the soft sea breeze carry me away. It's the perfect spot for someone who wants as little to do with others as possible. But yesterday someone came up here and ruined everything. I was a little worried at first, but I've adapted pretty smoothly to modern civilization. The fact that I only have vague memories of my life from 400 years ago probably helped a bit. I still don't really understand how ships and cars move by themselves or how electrical appliances and lights and things work. But it's not really an issue, to be honest. I know how to use them, and that's what counts. Most people who are born in the modern era could tell you that fridges keep stuff cold, but not exactly how they do it. It's actually pretty easy to get by if you can just accept that not knowing everything in detail is normal. Besides, it doesn't seem like life has changed that much for the fishermen who live on this remote island. Apparently, the big cities have greatly evolved with water and sewage systems, as well as subways. Waking up there would have been a lot more confusing. I really do love being alone. It's so calming. I have a good reason to isolate myself on this island. Soon my life will be over. I probably have less than a month left. Whoever sealed me away seems to have had some kindness in them, at least. They allowed me to spend my last moments as myself, alive. But I can hardly feel grateful. How much living can you really do in a few months, a few weeks? That girl, Tsukasa Owa, is always hanging around me. But trying to keep my feelings in check and act as cold. But I try to keep my feelings in check and act as cold as possible. Getting too close will only make things harder when all has to end. I like to joke and laugh with them, spend time talking about our favorite TV series and stuff like that. Especially with Tsukasa, the way she reacts to things is so funny. It's really hard not to laugh and play along. I have to try so hard to keep my feelings under control. Cheerful conversations will only become painful memories for her later. And since running into the woods and living alone isn't appealing, I just have to play my role as the unfriendly loner till the time comes for me to disappear. Just one more month of coasting along without making waves. But watching TV every day, learning more and more about the modern world, there's so much fun to be had, pretending otherwise actually hurts. Humanity has prospered. In the past, the common folks were preoccupied with surviving each day. Now, almost anyone can eat delicious food and sleep in a warm bed without having to toil all day and night. People have time, freedom, entertainment. It's wonderful. I wish I had time to enjoy it all. Get on an airplane, maybe even fly to Tokyo. But there's not much chance of that, not with the time I have left. Still, I really wish I could try one of those game consoles that you can hook up to the TV. You can play different games by switching cartridges, according to what they say on TV. Those consoles are so popular that it's hard to even find one. Not that I'm in a position to make demands, of course. All I can do is look at the pictures in the magazines and dream about them. If I had a game console, I bet I'd play it all day. Anyway, there's no point in wishing for too much. I'm just grateful to be able to spend my days this way. It's all thanks to Wakamura. Please just let me watch TV for my last remaining month. That's not too much to ask, is it? Anyway, I shouldn't let my guard down. I've got to keep myself in line, no extravagances. I've just got to gently drift along and not rock the boat. At least that was the plan, and yet, when speaking to him yesterday, I got completely carried away. I'm still mad at myself about it. Next time I'll be more careful. Cool as a cucumber. Wait. Next time. Oh well. Yuza Minakuchi. Something about him makes me lose my cool completely. It's probably the shock of finding out that he's immortal too. Yeah, that must be it. And maybe being immortal puts us on different wavelength from other people. That could be why I'm drawn to him. He seemed quite young. He can't have been immortal long, but to think mermaids are still around even now. Wait a moment. I wonder if he knows I'm an 800-year-old mortal too. I hope not. If he does, it puts my peaceful life at risk. I'd better make sure he knows to keep his mouth shut. I have to talk to Yuza Minakuchi again. Finding him is sure going to be a hassle. You came back. So, you're here too, huh? Did I startle you? Of course you did. Anyone would get a fright when someone sneaks up on them like that. Now you know exactly how I felt. You're right. I guess I deserve that. Never mind that now. There's something I wanted to ask you. There's something I need to tell you too, but you go first. So I was thinking about what you said yesterday about that pretty rough thing, and it occurred to me. Could you, by chance, be an immortal girl? Whoa! I didn't know it was that obvious. I knew it. Something about you was just different. So I'm an immortal boy, and you're an immortal girl. Don't put it like that. Could I make it any more obvious? Why not? That's what we look like, and it sounds better than people who became immortal by eating mermaid flesh. Besides, going by our actual ages or something would just get confusing. I guess that makes sense. Right, you might as well call yourself that too. All right, I will. Anyway, as it turns out, I wanted to talk about the same thing. You knew you were immortal, didn't you? Yep, I found out just recently, in fact. I got swept out to sea and survived against all odds. That's when I remembered being saved by a mermaid 5 years ago, and it all started to make sense. Wait, saved? By a mermaid? From what? Well, I had no idea. I hadn't even heard an incident like that occurred 5 years ago, and in the sea just south of Kamishima, too. No one really talks about it anymore. So, a mermaid saved you and made you an immortal boy? Right, that's my best guess anyway. Not that I understand why a mermaid would go out of her way to rescue me. Anyway, I'm just happy I can finally talk to someone about this. There's still so much I don't understand. Since we're here, do you mind if I ask you some questions? That's fine, but I need you to promise me one thing. Never tell anyone about me being an immortal girl. Easy. I'd prefer people didn't know about me either. Good. I'd have had to kill you otherwise, so thanks for sparing me the trouble. You know, you're a lot tougher than I thought you'd be. Anyway, done. I swear on my life. Lives. Whoa, look at you, making immortal jokes. You modern kids are something else. Honestly, it just came out. Wish he'd wipe that look off his face as if he's indifferent. I bet he's secretly proud of himself for being the one to startle me this time. He's been immortal for 5 years, so he's not going to get any taller. Another 795 years as a teenager sounds pretty rough. Tsukasa told me he tends to play the fool and that he's kind of hard to read. She was right. He's not a bad kid, though, I think. So, what did you want to ask me? Oh, right. How long does this immortal thing last? Is it really forever? 800 years, no more, no less. Wow, 800 years. That's a really solid number. Precisely. Good luck for the next 795. What am I, some fine wine? I need more than luck. That's 8 whole centuries we're talking about. Yeah, it's pretty rough, like I said. I could tell you had a long time left. Being immortal for so long must give you an amazing intuition. Oh, and just checking, but is there any way to undo our immortality? No, there isn't. You're not human anymore, and there's no way to become human again now that your human body is long gone. Ah, I knew it. By the way, how long have you been alive? This is my 800th year. I only have a month left. What? Really? It's a long story, but I've kind of been out of the game for the past 400 years. Now my life is almost over. 400 years is a long, long time. Only 1 month. You're way older than I imagined. So, is there anything I need to be careful of? What do you mean? Well, seeing as I'm stuck in this immortal body, is there anything I should avoid? Oh, right. If you fall into a deep fissure or pit of lava, you'll keep dying over and over, so don't do that. Yikes, that sounds terrifying. Avoid lava. Got it. That's about it. I don't actually remember all that much. Guess that's how it is. Oh, and it'll get messy if people find out, so try to keep a low profile. You'll probably have to find somewhere new to live every few decades. That'll help you avoid suspicion. Living in the same place for too long is dangerous, huh? Oh, but it won't be easy living anonymously with the family registry system. You used to just be able to show up in a new place and start making a living. People did that all the time, but nowadays... Yeah, I bet it's way more difficult to move around than it used to be. Sounds real rough. Good luck with that. Great, thanks. The next day. Not again. Are you going to come here every day? It's not like I have anything better to do. Yeah, me neither. You know, you're the one who started showing up at my favorite place. I like it too. I have just as much a right to be here as you do. Besides, it's such a nice spot. Yeah, I get that. You said before that you come here to think. What do you think about? Stuff like what sort of work I could do. Oh, are you unemployed? Obviously. Someone with a job wouldn't spend their mornings staring at the sea. Not everyone's lucky enough to have a cushy life eating free food and watching TV all day. Listen, can we cut this out? It seems utterly pointless to knock each other down every 5 seconds. True. I guess we can call a truce. Hey. Is living for so long hard? It's definitely not a stable life. It can be really hard at times. But that's true whether you're immortal or not, isn't it? At least you don't have to worry about starving to death anymore. Even if you get sick or injured, dying will fix it. I've never actually struggled that much because of my immortality, to be honest. Oh, is it really that easy? I mean, what if you really wanted to die and you just can't? Do you want to die? Well, not now. Well, not now, but maybe if I live long enough, I'll change my mind. Oh. When you said you got swept out to sea before, was that because you... Damn, I thought you were a super chill boy, but I guess you're a sensitive boy too. Seems that way. I was just as surprised as you to find that out. Come on then, what happened? Talk to your elder immortal. Jeez, so they blamed your mother for the disaster 5 years ago, and even shunned you because of it? Guess you mustn't have been keen to come back here then. I didn't want my Gran or Izami to have to worry about me. It was a moment of weakness that pulled me back here, I guess. I'm not really sure. Regardless, I need to live as quietly as possible and stay out of everyone's way now. And that's why you came up here to be alone, huh? Well, I guess I know how you feel. It's the same for me. The next day. Wait, so you were sealed in an underwater cave for 400 years? Yeah, There was a reason for it to keep something from happening, but I don't remember what it was. But I'm awake now, so that must mean it's okay, whatever it was. Geez, that must have been terrible. Pretty noble of me, wouldn't you say? If you wanted to worship me, I wouldn't say no. So, this Izami Kamoi guy looks out for you, huh? Yeah, he's a really good guy. Too good for me, definitely. Honestly, I don't think I could survive on this island without his help. And yet, you haven't told him you're immortal. No, I doubt he'd believe me. Besides, if he started avoiding me or something, I'd have nothing left. I don't think I could keep going. Not that you can die. Ah, true. Several days later. I see. So you've been acting cold because you don't have much time left, huh? I understand. Saying goodbye to people you care about isn't easy. Yeah, exactly. And when you live as long as we do, you have to say goodbye to so many people. Come to think of it, being immortal sounds pretty rough. Well, it does mean saying goodbye a lot. You can see why some people see immortality as a kind of punishment or hell itself. There have been immortals who became so overcome with despair that they turned their backs on the world and devoted themselves to religion. Like Yao Bikuni, so that's where that story comes from. But you know, as far as I can remember, I've never felt like this existence was hell. Really? Yep, for those 400 years before I was sealed away, I just lived out my life. If you ask me, not everyone's cut out to be immortal. It's like anything else, really. Some people have what it takes, others don't. So what, you were just a natural immortal? Yep, it's like I was born for it. I see, there really is something for everyone. But I guess emotionally maturing to match the fact that you're 817 years old wasn't for you, though. You noticed. I'm self-conscious about that. Oh, sorry. Anyway, it takes talent to live for centuries without seeming to age a day. True, I wish I had that talent too. I'm jealous. I hope I'll be able to look at it the same way. Are you scared? Huh? Are you scared of being alone for the next 800 years? Well, yeah, that's part of it. It's also just hard to imagine living in the future. Makes sense. I probably would have been scared too if I'd known from the start that I had 8 whole centuries ahead of me. But I reckon you'll be okay. You might even surprise yourself. You think so? Yeah, you're a lot like me in some ways, so I think you might just be cut out for this immortal life. Huh. Are we alike? I hadn't noticed. Sure we are. Like how you start playing the fool when you're embarrassed. You've got me there. See? And remember when we first met, we started talking like we were old friends right off the bat. True, I remember thinking it was funny how I didn't feel awkward at all. I rest my case. If you've got the knack for it, another 795 years will feel like nothing. Blink and you'll miss it. Like nothing. I don't know if I want it to go by that fast. Exactly. In the end, you might not even feel like it was enough. Maybe your last words will be, I know I've lived for 800 years, but come on, give me another few centuries. I get it now. You really are good at being immortal. So good you still don't want to die. Huh? You've only got 1 month before your lifespan ends. You must be scared too. You've never despaired once at being immortal until now. You're not wrong there. I mean, I lost 400 years. So I'm not nearly done with my life yet. I want to keep living, more than anything. Of course I'm scared. I can understand that. It's not like you're on your deathbed and been given 1 month left to live. You're as healthy as can be. So maybe it's time you stopped worrying. What do you mean? Since you don't have long left, why not spend the rest of your lifespan having fun? Live it out to the fullest. If you do the best you can with the time you have left, you might even feel satisfied with the life you've led in the end. Wow. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But if I get close to anyone, it'll only hurt them when I die. Yeah, but I mean, you could just let them warn you. You've had to do that plenty of times, right? I guess I could be forgiven for being a little selfish in my old age. Exactly. If it helps, consider yourself forgiven. Does that mean you'll mourn me when I disappear? Of course I will. From the bottom of my heart. Really now. That might just make me happy. Good. Then here's the plan. You're going to have as much fun as possible starting tomorrow. Tsukasa's coming back for the holidays too, by the way. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to hang out with you. She wanted to be your friend, you know. Ooh, I'm liking the sound of this more and more. I wanted to be her friend too. Guess this is my chance to take her around the island. Oh, but while I'm at it... Yeah? You said your grandmother, Suyu, needed someone to talk to, right? Oh, yeah. It's just, we don't have much to talk about. She's always going on about what's on TV, and I can't keep up. Leave the TV talk to me. Oh, and I'd be happy to look after her while you're out working as well. Are you sure? That'd be a huge help, but... Sure, I'm sure. She seems like an interesting person to talk to. I'd love to spend some time with her. She's definitely something. You can't let your guard down around her, that's for sure. And she's pretty stubborn, not to mention if she doesn't like something, she's not afraid to say it. I'll bear that in mind. You know what? I'm actually pretty excited for tomorrow now. I'm glad. Hey, Yuza. That's my name, don't wear it out. I know we initially came here because we wanted to be alone, but from now on... Can we come here together when we don't want to be alone instead? Sato. Of course we can. I'll wait for you here every day. After that, I decided to stop holding back and reach out to everyone around me. And you know what? They responded. They've started interacting with me in just the same way. So I've decided to spend my last few days having as much fun as possible. So much fun that I won't have time to fear the end. Of course, no one but Yuza and I know about my immortality, or what little remains of it. But these past few days have been so much fun, there are points where I can't even tell if I'm dreaming, or if this is my new reality. And most importantly, Yuza's life and mine have continued to intertwine, as we meet at our usual spot day after day. We get along so well, being together feels like the most natural thing on earth. And it didn't take long for us both to notice how comfortable we were around each other. Before we knew it, we were being drawn together with increasing intensity, like stars meeting in orbit. I think that this is all going to be one video, but I'm going to take another break. I'm going to go get dinner, and then I'm going to come back and finish this up. So, I'll see you guys in just a second. Alright, let's put this thing to rest. I like the matching, thumbnails here. With her facing him and him facing her. It's cute. Yuza Minakuchi meets Sato Shiranami, a fellow immortal, in secret over the past month and grows closer to her. A decisive night befalls them. The cool night sky is teeming with stars. The wind gently brushes the trees as ocean waves echo in the distance. Looking over the sea puts my mind at ease. Sato sits quietly watching the ebb and flow of the tide. I wonder what she's thinking about. Is she carefully contemplating what comes next? I can't just put it all on her. I need to think too. We don't have much time. Honestly, we really should have made up our minds long ago. But there's still a chance. I refuse to give up until it's all over. When we were here yesterday, she told me how she felt. She said she loved me, that if it were somehow possible, she'd be with me forever. It must have taken some real courage. I actually feel kind of bad for making her say it. Because I feel exactly the same way. Even though we've known each other for less than a month, I can't deny these feelings. I felt the same way, but I didn't have her courage. Either way, one of us only has days left to live. Either way, one of us only has days left to live, the other 795 years. Telling her how I felt would mean nothing. Worse, it would make parting that much harder. I thought I could bury my feelings somewhere they would never emerge from. For her part, I suppose she wanted to move on without leaving anything unsaid, with no regrets, even if nothing came of it. She knew it was futile, but she still said it anyway. And yet, once I let these feelings out, feelings that should never have been revealed, there was no controlling them anymore. My desire to spend the rest of my life with her burned like a searing flame in my chest. We contemplated possible ways for us to remain together. And the answer came to us surprisingly fast, an answer that we shouldn't have even considered. But there was no time to concern ourselves with the right or wrong of it. We didn't even hesitate. Only one option was available to us, and we intended to take it. But there was hardly enough time to see it through. Hell, even if we had longer, the odds of our plan succeeding were dismally low. It was nothing more than our final vain act of rebellion. What are you thinking about? Huh? I was thinking about how we first met. A month ago? Yeah. Back then you said you wouldn't bother me. But you peeked over at me like 5 times, didn't you? Thought I was being sneaky. You even counted the number of times. But if you were counting, I guess you must have been watching me too, huh? I didn't realize I was giving myself away, but you're right. I was looking at you. Ah, so that's why you crept up behind me to scare me, huh? I wasn't trying to scare you. I just wanted to see your surprised face. So you were trying to scare me. Well, you honestly got me good. You definitely got me back the next day. I love that memory. With a memory like that, there's nothing else I need. I have no regrets. Come on. You can't be all fulfilled and complete already. We're only just getting started. Right. Only getting started. I can't believe she was thinking about that day at a time like this. That carefree side of her... That carefree side of her is so dang adorable, though. I can't be upset with her. Gah, my heart won't stop racing. I've never felt this way before. At first, I thought it was simply because we were both immortal, that our closeness was a feeling of kinship. But it's more than that. I've never gotten along with someone so well, especially someone who's lived such a different life from my own. It feels like I've found a missing piece of myself. My heart is whole when I'm with her. Our very souls are in harmony. Well, that might be pushing it a bit. Even Grant saw how compatible we are and urged me to get married already. That was too embarrassing for me to tell Sato about, though. There's no way I can lose her. I can't even conceive of life without her. Even with 800 years of life ahead of me, I'll never meet anyone remotely as amazing as her. If there was some way to use my immortality to stay with her, I'd do it in an instant. Whatever form I would have to take, I wouldn't complain. I'd sell my soul to the devil if it would get me what I desired. We've made up our minds. We'll see our final wish through, no matter what. The summer breeze feels perfect, and clear sky is sparkling with stars. Nothing relaxes me more than the whisper of the tide, and the breeze in the trees. Yuza is silently gazing out at the dark sea. I wonder what he's thinking about. I suppose he's seriously considering what lies ahead of us. I really need to do the same. I'm so happy. I only have 2 days left. Finding hope at a time like this feels like a miracle. I'd all but given up. I never thought I'd get a second chance. When we were here yesterday, I told Yuzo how I felt. I told him I'd loved him, that if it were somehow possible, I'd stay by his side forever. I had planned on taking those feelings to the grave, but then it hit me. There wouldn't even be a grave for me. Maybe that's why I blurted it out. I was prepared for it to go badly, but he accepted my feelings. Still, I only have 2 days left. It can't be any easier on him than it is me. After all, sharing our feelings changes nothing. It'll only make it harder to say goodbye. But Yuza confessed that he had been suppressing his feelings for the same reason. Hearing that made me wish I hadn't said it first. I can't help feeling like I lost somehow. But looking back, that moment was the only time I could have said it, so I'm glad I did. However, now that it's all out in the open, I thought we'd feel a sense of peace, but we don't. Far from it. We're not like a pair of tragic lovers in a story, bound to die beautifully together or anything like that. I mean, if we could die together, there'd be nothing to agonize over in the first place. So we started thinking of ways we could be together. The answer came to us surprisingly fast, but it was an answer that could be described as taboo. Yuza asked me if I was sure I wanted to go through with it, but honestly, I didn't need to think twice. If that's what it takes, then so be it. All I want is to be with him. But we're running out of time. Although, even if we had more time, the odds of our plan succeeding are almost zero anyway. Part of me wishes we'd made this plan much earlier. But maybe I needed this time for my feelings to reach their peak. Maybe this is just how it had to be. Better to think we made it just in time. I'll keep fighting this fate until the very end. Part of me wishes we'd made this plan much earlier. But maybe I needed this time for my feelings to reach their peak. What are you thinking about? Huh? Oh, just our height difference. Oh, my height's been bugging you? Well, you know, we're going to be like this forever. Don't worry. Even with 15 centimeters between us, you look great, Yuza. Thanks, but that doesn't really make me feel better. Hey, it's not your fault you were only in middle school when you became immortal. Nothing you can do now. We'll just have to live with it. Man, if it had happened just 1 or 2 years later, I'd be at least 5 centimeters taller. Wait, even then I'd still be 10 centimeters shorter than you. Wow, that's crazy. Sorry for being crazy tall. It's fine. I don't care if there's 15 centimeters between us. You're still my adorable Sato. Thanks, but that doesn't really make me feel better. Still, you must have stood out a lot back in your time, huh? Yeah, I was taller than most adult men back then. From what I can remember, I think everyone found me a bit creepy. Sorry to hear that. It's not like you could help it. Well, they treated me like some kind of monster because of it. Most people straight up avoided me. That's awful. On the other hand, I do remember at least one person back then who kept trying to woo me. Who was that? Sounds like someone's jealous. Hey, I ain't the kind of guy who obsesses over his girlfriend's past. What's done is done. Nice line. I bet you've been wanting to say that one for ages. Still, I mean, you've been alive for so long. There's way too much history to worry about. Fair point. Honestly, I barely remember him myself. Although, I don't think I liked him all that much. He was just somebody important I couldn't say no to or something like that. Huh? Really? That's good to hear. At least as far as I can remember. Anyway, I thought you didn't care. Well, I guess you having so much more experience under your belt makes me feel a bit out of your league. I see. Well, I'm the one who confessed to you, so I guess we'll call it even for now. Right, that works for me. Not sure what's even exactly, but I'll take it. I would have assumed he'd be thinking about tomorrow's plan. I never imagined he might be thinking about what comes after that. He's so sure we're going to succeed. Knowing that makes me feel so much more confident. His easygoing attitude is actually reassuring right now. I'm so glad he's here with me. My heart won't stop racing. I've never felt this way before. I didn't think I could feel something new after living for 800 years. The fact that he's an 800-year immortal too probably has something to do with it. With him, I feel safe. There's nothing I'd be afraid of. There's nothing I'd be afraid to tell him. But that's not all there is to it. There are some people you could know for decades and still not fall in love with them. And then there are those you know you can't live without barely a second after you've met. Even a bond that's lasted centuries can fall apart in a single day. Love isn't measured by time. Maybe it's too much to say we're soulmates, but that's how it feels to me. Even Suyu's been saying that we should get married because we're clearly made for each other. Not that I've told Yuza that. It'd be way too embarrassing. I don't want to say goodbye to Yuza. Feels like I've waited 800 years for him, and now a lot of things might be destroyed tomorrow. Everything the Islanders have been protecting, heck, even some relationships might crumble. But still, we're going to do it. We've made up our minds. We'll see our final wish through, no matter what. My apologies for the interruption. I simply wish to confirm your understanding of a certain point. Yuza Minakuchi and Sato Shiranami attempted in vain to hide their feelings for one another, and now they are hatching a plan. Considering how much you're remembered already, I'm certain you recall this fact as well. So let me ask you, what can be done to intertwine two lives that were never meant to stay together? What? Sato Shiranami must once again be made immortal, you say. That is correct, and you chose the right answer on your very first attempt. Well done indeed. Indeed, as there is no way to undo the curse of an 800-year immortal. The only way for them to remain together would be to somehow obtain the flesh of a mermaid. They believe they have no choice but to make Sato Shiranami live for another 800 years. As such, the plan they hatched was to obtain a second helping of immortality. A truly radical concept, such a method goes against the very laws of nature, but it is not my place to judge. Please enjoy the continuation of their story. I told Azami about our plan to find a mermaid, and he agreed to help. We'll go diving tomorrow morning and hopefully find a clue. I'm sorry I can't be any more help. I just can't remember anything else. But I'm sure there was a mermaid on Taishima. Don't worry about it. At least now we know where to start the search. It really seems like my mom had some connection with mermaids, though, huh? Definitely. Suyu showed me that scale, and it really looks like it came from a mermaid. How strange would it be if it turned out your mom was actually a mermaid all along? Yeah, but even I think that's a bit of a leap. If I start diving in the Southern Sea, people are bound to start talking about my mom again. Which will give us the chance to hear more details that we might not be aware of. That's the hope, anyway. I've tried to keep my head down as much as I could until now, but I can't stand idly by anymore. Lately, there's been talk around the island of ominous signs. Maybe that'll work in our favor. You mean people talking about the storm coming? Yeah, that could be just the push we need. Also, the person you said you met today. Yumeko Shiki from the Paranormal Affairs Bureau, was it? She definitely seems like she knows something. Yeah, there's something suspicious about her. I think she didn't pay much attention to me because she knows I don't have much longer to live. But she apparently has the power to detect immortals, and when she finds them, she locks them up somewhere. They've been watching me too, so they might already have their suspicions. I'll be careful. It's pretty wild to think that we're being hunted by the government authorities, though. I guess people like us really can't be allowed to exist. I don't think they'd be too happy about us searching for mermaid flesh either. It'd be great if we could somehow get some information out of them. That might be difficult. We don't even know if they'll be coming back to Kamishima tomorrow. True, I guess we could always go to the mainland. Yuza? Yeah? Do we really have to be so secretive about it? Couldn't we tell Tsukasa and Izami everything and ask them to help us? It's not that I don't trust them, because I do. It's just that the more people there are that know a secret, the more likely it is to come out. If people find out there's a way to become immortal, it would cause a total uproar. Even the police would be after us then. Heck, every person who wants to live forever would be looking for us. We can't force Izami and Tsukasa to get caught up in all that. You're right. If anyone is going to get locked up, it should just be us. Exactly. That's why we should keep our mermaid search as quiet as possible. Besides, if we told anyone else, it'd be harder to keep the fact that you're an immortal girl hidden. But won't it all come out when the police come out around asking questions? I guess I can just play dumb and pretend I don't know anything until they come up with some solid evidence. We probably shouldn't let people know about us either. It'd just make it harder for us to continue our search. Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's try and stay apart as much as possible from tomorrow, just to be safe. As of now, I doubt anyone knows about our relationship. Yeah, I'm sure no one has caught on yet. Let's avoid all unnecessary contact while we each continue searching for mermaid flesh on our own. We can set specific times to meet up and share information, but we'll have to make sure no one sees us together. Right, I'll avoid interacting with you in public. But if we need to contact each other in an emergency, we can leave some kind of signal at a place we often walk by. Oh, I know. I'll leave this Kameshi Maru keychain in front of the town clock. If you see it there, don't you think you should come to the roof of the Kantakisho? Oh, that's the one I gave you. Okay, Kameshi Maru can be our go-between. Well, I guess that gives us 2 days to find what we need. I know it'll take a miracle, but we can't give up. Right. Will you take the scale now? Here it is. There's something about it, but I can't put my finger on what. Really is just as beautiful as ever. Damn you. I don't understand where it wants me to go now. Yes, I must become immortal. Everything depends on it. If you know anything, I sincerely ask you to tell me. Ha, there it is, your true colors. I knew it. You think I'd just hand over the Tamade Bako I struggled so hard to obtain? Ah. Please, I need it no matter what. Oh, look at the fire in those eyes. Looks like there's more to this. Very well, tell me your tale. If it rouses my spirits as an author, then I might just be persuaded to hand the box over. Really? All right, let me explain. I'll tell you, but you have to promise that you won't tell anyone else about this. Of course, I swear it. My lips are sealed tighter than a well-corked bottle. Wait, are you trying to say that you are Osato from Kusawa? The real one? Yes, it's probably me. Whoa, so that's why you're doing all this. This is what I want more than anything. Very well, in that case. Amazing, such stunning spirit. I'll be happy to support that resolve, even if I stand alone. This must be the reason I found the Tamade Bako in the first place. Here, take it. Thank you so much. Now that we know the situation, it only makes sense for you to have it. You should have just said so sooner. That said, I would also like to know how things turn out, so be sure to let us know, okay? Of course, I won't forget this kindness as long as I live. Ha, think nothing of it. But that does mean I should apologize to you, Cersei, after all that trouble we went through to get it. Shouldn't just take it. I don't know what it wants from me. It seems like it should just be a simple matter of putting the scale into the box and then using it as the thing. Just that there's a Kameshimaru keychain lying on the ground here. Ah, you're right. Who just chucked a poor thing out here? Yeah, I almost missed it. I'll rescue it. If I really want to do something about the curse of the raging waves, maybe we can rely on these two, although honestly it scares me a little. Why can't I pull out the keychain? Oh, this is aggravating. Come on. It doesn't give me the option to go to the thing. Why doesn't it give me the option? I'm gonna look up what it wants me to do because this is infuriating. Okay, seems like I was on the right track. I'm not sure how you're supposed to know this. So we get the Tamade Bako. Call out. Come on. I still have that message you left me, you know. Wait, you do? But it must have dried up ages ago. The thoughts I wove into it should have faded, too. Surely you can't hear the message anymore. Yep, I can't hear a word. But it doesn't matter. It's an important memento, and a part of you as well. That's enough for me to treasure it. Oh, come on. You're gonna make me blush. I was really happy when you shared this with me all that time ago. Well, you know. I can't just show myself in front of anyone, can I? Ah, memories. Is there really no way to hear the message again after it's dried up? If you found a way to return it to the environment of the eternal world, it would be restored to its original state. You might be able to hear it then. Ooh, you can do that? Using the Tamade Bako would probably do it. Oh, but I don't think a normal human would be able to hear the message anymore. Sorry. I guess it's impossible after all. Oh, that's too bad. Ah, but if you were a spirit, you might be able to hear it by retracing the echo it left in your mind. Wait, wouldn't I have to be dead for that? That's a no-go then. These memories, could they have belonged to a mermaid? Put it in the Tamade Bako. I've been wanting you to do this for like 3 hours now. Maybe something will happen if I put this in the Tamade Bako. Okay, it's in. Nothing happened. Darn. Let's wait a little longer. Nope, still nothing. Seems like nothing's changed. Let me put it back on the shelf where it belongs. Scale didn't do anything. Damn. Do I need to do more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know what you want from me, game. Nope. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna take another peek at the walkthrough. I'll see what I need to do next. I'll be right back. Try this again. Start from the lighthouse. Admit. Please, I need it. Tell the truth. Let's wait a little while longer. Hello, Mare. Can you hear me? I tried to weave my thoughts into the scale to leave you a message. I hope it reaches you. Listen, I came up with a secret signal for when you need to call me. From now on, if you don't use the signal, I won't respond, so be careful. You need to call me 4 times, leaving at least 3 seconds between each. That's the rule. Don't forget it. It's a promise, just between you and me. Alright. So we return. You guys can't see her, but there is a mermaid behind my camera. Let me turn my camera off. There we go. So we're going to click once. 1, 2, 3. We're going to click twice. 1, 2, 3. And click 3 times. 1, 2, 3. We're going to click 4 times. Oh, you know that signal, do you? That signal is extremely important to me. I won't allow just anyone to use it, least of all on some childish whim. So first, I have to be sure. Who are you? Huh? Yuza? So, you do know. Allow me to welcome you, Yuzo Minakuchi, or rather, Yuzo Minakuchi's severed consciousness. I am the mermaid called Sobe. You've passed through here 14 times now. I suppose it's not that strange you noticed me. This is the place you humans call Ryugu. Though I hear it's also called things like the Eternal World and the World Beyond. Feel free to call it what you like. Whatever the name, it's one of the many worlds that souls of the departed move on to afterlife. Well, I suppose that's not entirely accurate. The space we're in now serves more as its boundary than anything else. There's something I always thought to talk to you about, something I had to talk to you about if we ever happened to meet. Though I never thought you'd come seek me out like this, in the form you are now. But it seems you have your own reasons for doing so. You wish to speak with me, yes? So, what shall we talk about first? How to explain? This is a space that connects the 2 worlds you can travel between. The world the living Yuza Minakuchi inhabits, and the world that you, a severed portion of Yuza Minakuchi's consciousness, usually exist in. As a spirit, you will always pass through the space when traveling to the world of the living. Normally, something like this would be unthinkable, if not impossible. But it seems you're something of an exception. Was there anything else? Tell me about my mom. You're asking if Mari and I were friends. I'm only going to say this once. You might be Mari's son, but I won't stand for you intruding upon our relationship. The relationship Mari and I had can't be described by so simple a word as friends. This isn't the only world that souls of the dead journey to after life, you know. Their number is immeasurable. There are worlds beyond counting. Mari's soul has gone somewhere far, far away. Even here in Ryugu, I won't be able to see her again. So don't ask me any more. Leave me to my memories of her. Was there anything else? What happened on the day of the disaster? Yes, of course you'd want to know about that. I do owe you an explanation of what happened back then. 5 years ago, on the day the calamity struck. Let's get this out of the way first. I was indeed the one who made you an 800-year immortal. But if you come here looking for a way to regain your humanity, I'm sorry, but that's no longer possible. Even as a mermaid, there's nothing I can do. You, or rather the Yuza Minakuchi of the mortal world, are now bound to live out the remaining 795 years of your life there, neither aging nor dying. Nothing can reverse this now. Now then, let me tell you what happened on that day 5 years ago, and about the years leading up to it. One of the mermaids who were said to have lived near Taishima around 400 years ago, she has since returned to her home, Ryugu. Ah, this is a long one. After becoming unable to return to Ryugu, Sobe had ceased to show herself on the surface, even before members of the Somakawa line. However, upon noticing that 400 years had passed since the sinking of Taishima, she cautiously attempted to contact with the current generation's inheritor of the family duty, a woman by the name of Mare Somakawa. In the past, any human she encountered had either treated her as an object of worship or sought her flesh. Perhaps as a result, she immediately sensed something was different about Mare, who treated her in a friendly manner from the moment of their meeting and promised to do all she could to return her to Ryugu. There was no pretense in Mare's bearing, and her attitude when speaking to Sobe was casual and lighthearted. Gradually, Sobe began to open up to her. After some time, they agreed on a secret signal and began meeting surreptitiously, growing closer the more they learned about each other. A strange sense of trust came to blossom between them, one transcending the boundaries of their respective species. Mari had originally resolved to remain single and never start a family of her own in order to devote herself entirely to her duty with Sobe. However, Sobe strongly opposed this, saying that Mari's life here would continue even when she was gone, so Mari should not deny herself a possible future with her own family. She had seen how happy one of her former compatriots had been upon finding love, and believed Mari deserved to know such joy as well, if she wished to. Mari seemed unbothered at the thought, but said she would consider it if someone suitable ended up coming along. However, that moment came sooner than expected. Upon moving to Kamishima, she met the love of her life, Tosuke Minakuchi. Sobe was delighted for Mare and offered her heartfelt congratulations upon hearing of their marriage. While she did not understand the joy of having a family herself, she was gratified to see Mare so happy. It was Mari's constant wish to be able to introduce her beloved family to her dearest friend, but it was forbidden to reveal the existence of mermaids to anyone, even her husband and child. Eventually, the two reached a compromise. Sobe said she would meet them when the time came for her to return to Ryugu, reasoning that there would be no harm in revealing herself for such a short space of time. This agreement became a cherished promise between them. Thus did the years continue to pass, Mari's son growing all the while until the day of the Kamishina Southern Sea disaster arrived. In the days leading up to the disaster, a strange rumbling could be heard coming from the sea. Sobe took this as a sign that the storm caused by the curse of the raging waves was approaching, and she and Mari mistakenly concluded that this meant the seal on Ryugu's entrance would soon be lifted. Although the timing was earlier than expected, the two were overcome with excitement at the thought that Sobe could finally fulfill her long-held dream of returning home, and couldn't bring themselves to doubt the signs. They put together a plan. Even if the storm were to come while they were out at sea, Mari could use the bronze mirror to suppress it, allowing Sobe to pass through the entrance to Ryugu alone. Resolved that this was where they would part ways, the two spent the final night together, talking until the sun rose. On the day their plan would be put into action, Mari took Tosuke and Yuza out into the bay on a boat to introduce them to Sobe as promised. Although pained by having to part with Sobe, she was buoyed by the thought that she would now be able to devote herself fully to motherhood and to her family that had always protected her without reservation. Sobe, meanwhile, was secretly trailing them from the seabed. Disliking the sound of propellers, she was unable to get close to the boat as it was moving. The storm that suddenly broke out around them far exceeded all expectations. Even the bronze mirror was not enough to calm it, and the sea churned and roiled around them, as if the heavens themselves were unleashing their wrath. The small fishing boat carrying the Minakuchi family, began to take on water, and it was not long before it started to sink. Sobe immediately rushed to their aid, reaching them just as they had fitted Yuza with a life buoy and gotten him off the boat. The couple still clung desperately to the sinking boat as it was tossed about by the waves. Upon seeing Sobe, Tosuke's reaction was surprisingly composed. Whether already resolved to meet his fate or just mellowed by nature, his first response after Mari introduced her was to greet her cheerfully, thanking her for keeping Mari company and expressing surprise that Mari's faraway friend had turned out to not be human. Sobe, however, had no time for pleasantries, consumed only by the thought of getting them to safety. She tried to carry them all from the boat, but even a single person proved to be almost too much for her. Naturally, she also lacked the strength needed to tow the boat out of danger. Even her nature as a mermaid wasn't enough to allow her to save someone precious to her when it mattered most. Filled with distress at her own powerlessness, Sobe was overcome by a sense of despair. Frantic, she tried to take only Mari with her in a bid to escape the sinking boat, but Mari rebuffed her attempt. She had no intention of being the only one saved. Instead, she and Tosuke pleaded for Sobe to help Yuza, saying that his survival meant more to them than anything else. Sobe could not understand. She refused to. She prepared herself to bid farewell to Mari, but parting like this was too painful for her to bear. Mari, for her part, continued apologizing to Sobe, despite the looming threat to her own life, concerned for her friend's safety and feeling deep regret at being unable to see Sobe back home. It was more than Sobe could stand. At that moment, Sobe's innermost feelings came into sharp relief. Part of her, deep down, resented Yuza and Tosuke with all her heart, with all her being. She was happy as long as she had Mari, but Mari had her family to love as well, and yet it was Sobe herself who had wished for Mari to find happiness by starting a family of her own. Overwhelmed by unfamiliar emotions of conflict and self-loathing, she found herself unable to think clearly. Smiling as she clung to the sinking boat, half submerged in seawater, Mari thanked Sobe for her friendship and told her that these days they had spent together had been some of her happiest. Oh my god, why am I so fucking bad at reading today? Sobe was devastated. Every part of her rejected the entire situation. She didn't want to hear Mari bid farewell to her like this. She didn't want to part with Mari at all. She wanted to grab a hold of her friend and carry her away to safety by force if necessary. Even returning home to Ryugu no longer mattered to her as much as this, but she couldn't ignore Mari's plea for her to save her son. Wrenching herself away from the sinking boat, Sobe headed to rescue Yuza, all the while resenting the boy for the tremendous love that Mari bore him. When she found Yuza, he had been caught up in a whirlpool and was barely clinging to life. Sobe caught herself feeling almost satisfied at the sight, thinking that it served him right. If it hadn't been for Yuza, she could have saved Mari, but Mari's plan for her to save Yuza, that her only wish was for him to survive, echoed in Sobe's mind. The next moment, she dragged the dying Yuza out of the whirlpool and, pulling a piece of her own tail, forcibly fed it to him. Whether the emotions driving her at this point were a desire to fulfill Mari's wish or hatred towards Yuza, even Sobe herself couldn't say. After carrying Yuza out of the reach of the storm, Sobe immediately went to rescue Mari. She finally found her after 3 long days of searching, but her efforts had been in vain. Mari's body was already cold. Once someone had died, it was beyond even a mermaid's power to bring them back. Sobe clung to Mari's body and wept. Never again would she hear Mari's voice calling her name. She laid Mari's body to rest on the seabed and, hiding herself beside it, spent her days mourning, lost in the depths of despair. Several years later, the entrance to Ryugu was unsealed, and Sobe, now with no remaining attachments to the mortal world, made to return home by herself. Before doing so, she met with Mari's sister, thinking to reclaim the mermaid's relic from her. However, put off by the woman's blatant avarice, she found herself unable to muster any interest in her, and ultimately returned without reclaiming the relic despite knowing full well the misfortune it could bring. Looking back now, what I did to you was wrong. It was an extreme situation, yes, but I must have been mad to even consider it. Every time I remember, I wonder what on earth I was thinking. How could I have done something so cruel to the son Mari loved so much? Even though nothing that happened was your fault. I don't expect you to forgive me, but let me at least say this. I'm sorry. I would do anything within my power to ease your burden. What? You want a piece of my flesh? But why? I suppose it's not impossible. You could bring it back to the mortal world using the relic I left there. Normally this would be forbidden, but I suppose I was the cause of all of this. Maybe it counts as an attempt at making amends, if nothing else. There, it's done. I'll send it to the other side. You'll be able to take it from the box there. The mermaid flesh has been transferred to the Tamade Bako. The current holder of the box may claim it as their own from the evening of August 7th. It seems you've done everything you came to do. Then this is where we part ways. Know that I won't respond anymore, even if you call to me with that signal. Having a means of calling me was prohibited in the first place. Live and be happy, Yuza, for Mari's sake, for all the years she never got to see. Be sure to tell him that when you return to him in the mortal world. Discoverer of Ryugu. Seems like nothing changed. Now are you done? Where are we? Conclusion. Actually, she's gonna be okay. Huh? Sorry, I've been keeping this a secret, but... In eternal conclusion, Yuza Minakuchi has done everything he must do. All that's left is to see it out to the end. All of your efforts have been truly remarkable. The fact that you are seeing this means all of Yuza Minakuchi's wishes have been fulfilled. You have overcome countless hardships and resolved every dilemma. Congratulations. Now then, as you may be confused as to what exactly has transpired, please allow me to explain. Yuza Minakuchi's true objective was to obtain the flesh of a mermaid. I know this. This was to fulfill his oath of making Sato Shiranami immortal again before her imminent demise, that they might live 800 more years together. I know this as well. However, who could have expected multiple curses to strike Kamishima at the very same time? Yes, I'm referring to the curse of the raging waves, born 4 centuries ago, and the curse of Tomoshige, which had built up over 800 years. While such calamities would appear to offer naught but misfortune, as luck would have it, these curses were blessings in disguise. They led Yuza Minakuchi down a path that would otherwise not have been possible. One could very well call it a miracle. The key to all this was, of course, your efforts. Now I shall describe each pivotal event in the story in its order of occurrence. One fated day, August 7th, Yuza Minakuchi went diving and searched Kamishima for leads to find mermaids. However, that night, Kippei Ekoma sent Kikuko Tsutsui as an assassin to cause the tragedy of Kamishima, thereby allowing him to capture Sato. This shifted Yuza Minakuchi's priorities away from his search for mermaid flesh, as he is tragically killed, and his mission ends in failure. It would seem that fulfilling his wishes was never in the cards, and he instead met with a terrible fate. However, the consciousness lingering within his severed head witnessed something inexplicable. It was the sight of his 800-year-old immortal body regenerating a new head. With that, a new mind, complete with all memories intact, formed inside the regenerated head of the resurrected Yuza Minakuchi. The severed head then disappeared, yet the consciousness that had remained within it did not return to his body. Rather, it became a spirit that crossed over to the afterlife, what some might call the eternal world. Thus was another consciousness separated from Yuzo Minakuchi's primary body formed. And that separated consciousness was you. You once asked, "Who am I?" But may I assume the answer has now become clear. This separate consciousness of Yuzo Minakuchi remained in the eternal world despite the firm resolve it held, growing ever more anguished over its failure without knowing what had occurred afterward. It dearly desired to find a way to return to its past self and explain the situation before this failure could take place. So it found its way to the boundary between the mortal world and the world beyond. That is to say, it found its way here, to Ryugu. This is the place you laid your eyes. This is the place you laid eyes upon at the very beginning. This is where your duty began. The fact that this place just so happens to be where the mermaids reside turned out to be a stroke of luck. But because you would lose all memory of this fact once you passed through the gate into the mortal world, I stepped in to humbly guide you along your path. Then, as a spirit, you encountered Yuzo Minakuchi during his dive to the bottom of the sea. Because you resembled a phenomenon known as a Tomokazuki, you were referred to as such. Needless to say, you were not a Tomokazuki. Yet that is how you possessed Yuzo Minakuchi and shared your fragmented memories with him. Even so, it was not enough. In your spirit form, you had the ability to use the story chart and travel across space and time to possess other individuals. You entered the minds and memories of various people, jumping between each in turn as you earnestly sought to realize your goals. And that is how things progress behind the scenes during the story. You have fulfilled your role and will now return to the world from whence you came. After you have viewed what became of everyone following these events, this Paranormasight will finally draw to a close. Thank you very much for your diligent attention. August 31st. Oh, so you've decided to accept your inheritance, but you're going to go to university first? Uh-huh. The wheels are in motion for me to take over the family business after studying real hard at university. Your whole life must be undergoing some major changes. Are you managing okay? You don't have too much on your plate. Actually, about that. Get this. Turns out my ma used to be a certified public accountant. I had no idea. Anyway, the plan's for Ma to manage all the assets while I'm studying my butt off. She was apparently waiting like a hawk for the moment to swoop in and make sure you got everything coming to you. I don't know if I should call her cunning, but Tsukasa's mom sure knows how to get things done. That's wild. Oh, that reminds me. There was something I wanted to ask you, Azami. You mentioned wanting to ask Tsukasa out the other day. So, how'd that go? Whoa, Sato, you're seriously going to ask that right in front of everybody? Jeez. I mean, I guess it's fine since I already asked her, but that could have ruined everything. Wait, you did? When did all this go down? Oh, I couldn't help myself. I've been dying to know. I had to ask, even if it messed up your mojo. You sure are something else, Sato. Anyway, if you need answers that bad, you should ask Tsukasa. So, what did you say, Tsukasa? How did he ask? Where was it? Tell us already. You're way too invested, Miss Encyclopedia. You know how things are with me right now. The truth is, I haven't given him an answer yet. Oh, but at least it's not an outright rejection. How long are you going to make him wait? I got to do some soul searching to figure out how I feel, and I need everything to settle down, so around 4 or 5 years? That long? You're going to keep leading the poor guy along all that time? Right, and to top things off, she asked for my help in the meantime. Your help? Yep. I want to take over for old man Wakamura and make Kamishima the best place it can be. I want it to be way more convenient and bustling than it is now, an island that tourists flock to, you know. That means I'll need to start a business to manage all of that. As you can see, I've got loads of stuff to do. That's why I need you to give it your all as the leader of Kamishima, Azami. Yeah, I guess I want all that stuff for Kamishima too. That all sounds great, and Azami will definitely be a big help. My plan is to have Azami rise up the ranks and help me out with a whole bunch of stuff. Once he becomes a big shot like the mayor or something, then maybe we can start going out. What? That'll take way too long. I'll be an old geezer by then. See what I mean? This is what I have to deal with. Seems like that cunningness runs in the family. Well, you've got something to strive for now. Good luck with it. Quit your belly aching, Azami. We're doing this for Sato and Yuza too, you know. Yeah, I know. We talked it all over before. Huh? What do you mean you're doing it for us? Let's just say we were surprised when we heard about you guys the other night. Ah. About how you became an immortal yourself 5 years ago, yeah? By that stage, you secretly gotten your hands on some mermaid flesh for Sato. And now Sato has become an immortal for the second time. Add the fact that you guys have decided to stay together for the next 800 years. It was a lot to swallow all at once. Yeah, sorry for dropping such a big bombshell on you guys. Also, to be precise, we're going to be together for the next 795 years. What's 5 years when you've got centuries? What's 5 years when you've got centuries? 5 years is a long time. Yeah, he's right. And we're going to discuss the idea of going for another 800 years when we get close to the end. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's up to you guys. Do whatever you want. But don't forget that you owe us for keeping such a big secret from us the whole time. You got it? For real. See, I told you we should have gotten their advice from the start. Yeah, you have been saying that from the get-go. I know you said you live out on the down low in Kamishima because it'd be a whole other thing if people found out about you two, but people will eventually start getting suspicious, even if you try to lead normal lives. What are you going to do then? Well, we kind of assumed it would all work out somehow. It's true, we haven't really thought about that at all. We figured as much. That's why we're going to protect the two of you. Huh? We'll make some rules on the island so no one will get suspicious of you no matter how long you choose to live. I mean, it's going to take some time to put our plan into action, but I'm sure we'll be calling the shots around here by the time people start thinking there's something fishy going on with you guys. I was thinking we could build a shrine for you two to live up in the mountains. Oh? A shrine? That sounds incredible. We can say gods are enshrined there, so people shouldn't go near it without permission. Then I'll make sure the descendants of the Kumoi family are protectors of that shrine all the way down the family line, so they'll always protect you. The Somikawa family managed to pass down their legend for 400 years, so I bet my family could handle the shrine for 800 years or so. That's so thoughtful, but I feel kind of bad for making you guys worry so much, not to mention several generations of your family. It's totally fine, don't mention it. Nothing makes me happier than seeing you and Sato together like this. I know you went through a lot to get to this point, Yuza. I'm really happy for you. Azami. I'm seriously so happy for you. Like, seriously overjoyed. You heard the man. That's why we won't let anyone get in the way of all that happiness. Azami, Tsukasa, thank you both so much. Oh, Tsukasa, the fact that you'd think up all these plans just for us means the world to me. Well, there was one other reason. Yuza's never been the type to look before he leaps, so we have to be around to make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble. Ah, good point. Hey, that's not true. You're the one who always got me into messes, Azami. Nope, you're both wrong. You have any idea how much apologizing I've had to do for you guys over the years? Oh, but you're going to make it up to me now. I'll work you both to the bone. You too, Sato. We're going to put Kamishima on the map. You got it. Just tell me what to do. Let's all keep getting each other into and out of trouble from here on out. There is a legend in Kamishima. It is a story passed down through the generations about two gods in the guise of a young man and a young woman. They would often leave their shrine disguised as ordinary humans and happily stroll through the town. On occasion, they would sneak off the island and travel around the country before returning home. The people of the island would stop and give a small bow whenever they came across the couple, and silently watch as they went on their way. No one knew from whence the pair had come. Their history was shrouded in mystery. But it is said that this mischievously played and intimately harmonious couple would always look upon one another with pure joy. There was apparently only one inviolable rule concerning the pair. One must never sneak up and startle them from behind. several decades after those events. The country has seen 2 new emperors reign, and people with any detailed knowledge of these fateful days have grown few and far between. Now, the Kantakisho ruins of Kamishima have become a sacred place for lovers, with couples flocking to it to strengthen their bonds. On this day, the young visitors who happened to come see the sights spotted a young man and a young woman together on the roof of the Kantakisho ruins, gazing happily out to sea. All right, I'll let the credits roll this time. Actually, no, I'm going to skip them. Legend of Kamishima Twin Gods. Reach Yuzum Minakuchi's ending. All right. Looks like there's still a couple other things that we can do, and I'm sure that I'm still missing a buttload of achievements. But that was the true ending for Paranormasight 2, The Mermaid's Curse. What are our birds like? Oh, we've got a lot of them. Yeah. All right. Let's get out of here. There we are. So that was Paranormasight, The Mermaid's Curse. I mentioned this in a previous video. I feel like the first one had more action to it. There was a lot more movement. There was a lot more like characters. There were a lot of like cool puzzles that it set up and then paid off. And then this one, it felt much more straightforward. Like the first one, it felt like it had a bunch of like short stories put together that were all interconnecting. It felt very intricate. It felt very labyrinthine. This one feels much more straightforward. There's only like 4 focal characters. Nobody is really like double crossing anybody. There weren't any like internal antagonists. There was the one, there were multiple antagonists, but there wasn't one person who was working against the others for their own goals. It was all very much like things heading towards the lover's ending. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's just different from the first one. It's different from the taste, my taste. Because I was really looking forward to like getting into the intimate or intricate or labyrinthine like storylines and unraveling everything. And this one was much more straightforward. I think that they probably got criticism on the first one for being too labyrinthine and being too intricate and being too complex. And that might have been like an impetus for them to cut things down in this one. Whereas like I would much prefer like the true detective style, like multiple storylines going on at once and all of them interconnecting and learning about the relationships and all of that stuff. So I don't think that this one is bad. I just think that my taste is much more for the first one, The 7 Mysteries of Hanjo. Those 2 puzzles at the end where you have to, what was it? You have to do the save. Now you have to load the save, have to load the mermaid save, and then you have to look on the dialogue screen for the message from Sobe. I don't know how you're supposed to solve that. Like there's no hints there that I could see. It seems like the human ears can't hear it. Is like there should have been a hint for us because we're not human, right? We're a spirit. And then I'm not even sure how you're supposed to find the loading screen one. I don't think I've ever like scrolled down there before. So it's strange to me that those were the 2 puzzles that they went with as far as like getting into the Tamare Bako. Whenever we got the Tamare Bako, I was like, let's get the mermaid scale, because the mermaid scale might contain the flesh. We can put it in the Tamare Bako. It'll be refreshed like it's supposed to be, and then we can eat it, and then she'll be immortal again. That was my thought, and then this seemed like needlessly convoluted. So those two left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. The ones at the beginning where it was like, who are you? And it's like, well, I'm Yuza. And it's like, who is the other immortal? And it's like, well, it's Yuza. And things like that. It was like, I'm paying attention to the story, right? So those ones were too easy. And then the ones at the end were too hard. It's like, they need to get the balance right. They haven't gotten the balance right. I think the first one, you had to find a wisp in the end game to find the true ending. And so I was going around to all of these places looking for this wisp, and it took me forever to find it, because I was just like, where is it? Like, what am I looking for? Why is it not here? So there are some frustrating things in these games. I like the concept of being on the island. I think it could have been utilized better. I think that this should have been like, you're trapped on an island on the night of the massacre. How do you survive? And then you could do that as like Act 1. How do you stop this massacre from happening? Figure out all the clues to figure out who it is, and find out it's Kikuko, and then you could go back in time after you get killed, go back in time, like figure out Kikuko's whole deal, and then stop her from committing the thing. And then Act 2 would be the Curse of the Raging Waves. And it's like, you think that you're out of the fire because you've stopped Kikuko, but now you've got the second curse to deal with. And then Act 3 could be the, what's his name? Tomoshige. So you have the 3-act structure where it's like Act 1, you want to stop Kikuko. And then Act 2, you want to stop the Raging Waves. And then Act 3, you want to stop, what was he called? Tomoshige, or whatever his name was. So you've got that 3-act structure, and you follow through. The first one you get done with the massacre, and you're like, okay, cool, we stopped the massacre. But then you get hit with the Curse of the Raging Waves, and then you go through and you figure out how to stop the Curse of the Raging Waves, and then you've got this strange immortal guy who's obsessed with Osato and wants her to, and then you go through all of that, and then you get to that last part with the immortal lovers. So pacing could have been better. I think that if you were to make a game like this, I think that you should focus on making each chapter about an hour to an hour and a half. That's perfect pacing. It's about the size of a movie. It's enough to get you in. You can play through a chapter, get to the ending point, and then you have something to look forward to the next time you play. Whereas this one, it seemed like sometimes it was 2.5 hours, sometimes it was 1.5 hour, sometimes it was a little bit more, sometimes it was a little bit less. It didn't seem very consistent, and so it had a weird pacing. Having that 3-act structure can just help you with that pacing a little bit. So the pacing, the structure, and then the puzzle balance are the 3 things that I would recommend. Like, this is cool. I wish it was a little bit better, right? I still got like, how many am I missing? I've got 16 out of 29, so I've still got like 13 achievements left to do. I'm guessing that a few of them are probably the fishing. The Tale of Issei Mermaids, complete the story. Didn't I do that? Weird. All right. I'm not going to look at this anymore. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to move on to something else. Might come back. I did the 100% for this off camera. off recording, so I might come back and do this 100%. But for right now, I'm going to take a break. If there is another ending, if there is another like act that I haven't found yet, I'll record that and get back to it. For now, I think I'm done. Thank you if you have made it all the way through this massive series. We're at like 19, 20 hours. Thank you if you have stuck around. I always appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.